I chose my career over my boyfriend and he called me selfish. My boyfriend Jake and I have been together for 4 years, and we met working minimum wage jobs at this terrible call center downtown. Back then, we were both broke and dreaming of something better. About 2 years ago, Jake started his own renovation company. I actually wrote the entire application for this EU funding grant that got him started. Spent weeks researching and filling out paperwork. He got $30,000 from it and his business took off. Meanwhile, I got promoted to manager at this corporate job, but my boss was a complete nightmare. He would scream at me in meetings and made my life so miserable I ended up suing the company. I was on medical leave for 6 months because of the stress. While I was job hunting, I saw this ad for air traffic controller training. I looked into it and found out they make like 3 times the average salary and get 40 days paid vacation every year. The catch? Only about 10 people out of thousands get accepted each year. You need to be in the top 2% for spatial intelligence, multitasking, and decision-making, plus perfect English skills. I thought I was pretty good at that stuff, so I applied figuring I had nothing to lose. The testing process was insane. First an online test, then something called feast testing, then assessment centers, then interviews in English. Each round eliminated hundreds of people. When they called to say I got in, I literally started crying in the parking lot. But getting in was just the beginning. The actual training is 18 months of the most intense studying you can imagine. People fail out constantly. I had to move to the training center and could only come home on weekends to see Jake. We'd always talked about moving to Norway where his renovation business could make way more money. I was totally on board with that plan once I had my license. With air traffic control certification, I could work anywhere and make over $100,000 a year. Then last month, Jake calls me freaking out. His business partner found this amazing opportunity in Norway, but they had to leave immediately, like pack up and go within 2 weeks. I told him I only had 8 more weeks of training left, and there was no way I was quitting now. That's when he said something that made my blood boil. He goes, "You probably won't pass anyway. Most people fail, but this business deal is guaranteed money." I couldn't believe he said that. I'd been killing myself for over a year, getting perfect scores on every test. Then he brought up this conversation we had when we first met about how I wouldn't mind being a stay-at-home mom someday. He said I could just be supported by him and didn't need some stressful career. I told him absolutely not. I'd worked too hard to quit 2 months before finishing. He said if I really loved him, I'd trust his plan and come with him now. That we could do long distance for 8 weeks, but his opportunity couldn't wait. But here's what really hurt. After everything I did to help him start his business, he couldn't support me finishing mine. I reminded him about the grant application I wrote that got him $30,000. Without that, he'd still be working construction for someone else. He said that was different because his business was practical and made sense. Mine was just some fantasy that probably wouldn't work out anyway. That's when I hung up on him. 2 days later, he texted saying he was moving to Norway with or without me. I told him to have a great life. I finished my training and got my license. Now I make more money than Jake ever did with his renovation company.